Hello students, welcome to TrueNIC Informatics. My name is Sakshi. I will be teaching you science for class 10th, chapter 15, our environment. So let's start. Topics to be covered today will be introduction, ecosystem, what are its components, natural ecosystem, artificial ecosystem, biotic components, abiotic components, food chain, food web, trophic levels, flow of energy, waste and its type, ozone layer depletion. So let's start. Now, first of all, we will start with the introduction. What is environment? Our surrounding is called environment. Like my environment is my home, right? Your environment is your home. Wherever we live is our environment. And in only of our house, what is there nearby? We have trees, we have gardens, we have shops, we have malls, we have roads, we have so many things. So that is our environment, right? Living and non-living present in the environment, and they depend on each other. See, I am dependent on every non-living item which I am having in my house. Either it's a microwave or a refrigerator or a table or a computer or a air conditioner. I need everything around me, right? So as if I need the refrigerator, they also need me, right? Living things, organisms that have an ability to grow, reproduce, take in and use energy, excrete waste, respond to the environment, and possess an organized structure. See, we all have an organized structure. We have cell makes tissue, tissue makes organ make organ system, and organ system make the organism. So we have a complete organized structure. We have heart for pumping blood, we have lungs for respiration, we have intestine and liver for digestion, kidney for excretion, ovaries and testes for reproduction. We have organized structure. We have everything that we can do, whatever the thing which we are doing in our day-to-day life, because we are living things and we have that kind of structure. That then only we are known as living beings. Ecosystem. What are its components? Ecosystem. An ecosystem consists of all the living organisms in an area along with the non-living components and their interaction. Suppose the living organism in the area is the plants and animals, and the non-living are water and the soil. So they all together will make an ecosystem. Understood? There are different type of ecosystem, like natural ecosystem, forest, desert, grasslands, mountains, ponds, lakes, rivers, ocean. All these are natural ecosystem given by God to us, and we are able to live in this particular ecosystem. As you can see, there are forests, and this is having the flora and fauna both. Okay, in this one there are plants also, water also, and there will be animals also. This is also a natural ecosystem. This is a desert. These are the natural ecosystems. Artificial ecosystem. Artificial means man-made. Like gardens, park, crop fields, aquarium, zoo, etc. All are artificial. Components of an ecosystem. An ecosystem consists of two main components. They are biotic and abiotic components. Okay, so ecosystem is particularly made up of biotic and abiotic. Biotic components are the living components. Abiotic components are the non-living components. A biotic factor is in living part of an environment. Biotic factor, ducks, fish, plants, bacteria. Can you see here? Right? Abiotic factor, sunlight, temperature, soil, composition, water. All these things are abiotic. Biotic components are the living components like plants, animals, microorganisms. They consist of producer, consumer, and decomposers. Now we are going to discuss about producers. They are green plants which produce food by photosynthesis. I hope you know what is photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the process by which green plants make their own food in the presence of sunlight and green pigment chlorophyll, right? And they are autotrophic because they will make their own food. And what are animals? Animals are heterotrophic because they are dependent on others for making food. Okay. Consumers. Organisms which depend on other organisms for food, example lion, elephant and human, etc. We all are consumers, right? We are dependent on another organisms for the food, either it's plants or animals. Okay, we are dependent on others. Like you can say that my mother is not dependent on anyone for the food because she cooks her own food and give it to us also. No, it's not like that. Okay, mother is also using some kind of raw materials in the kitchen. She know how to make those raw materials, but she is getting the raw material from the plants or from the animals. Like milk we get from cattle, from the milking animals, and the crops we get from the plants. So all these we are dependent, we are consumers, we are not producers. Okay, there are three types of consumers. Herbivores, they only eat plants, like the vegetarians you can say, so eat only plants like deer, elephant and cow. Carnivores eat other animals like lion and snake, they eat another animals. Omnivores eat both plants and animals like humans and crow. So see, we have categorization in humans. Humans are vegetarian also, non-vegetarian also, but still for any of the source we are dependent on the animals. Like we drink milk, we eat eggs, so whatever the thing is we are dependent on animals also. See, we are not directly eating them, yeah, but we are dependent on them if we are vegetarians. So humans and crow, etc. are the example for omnivores, those who can eat the plant and animal both. Okay. Decomposers. Decomposers are the organisms who feed on dead plants and animals, example bacteria, fungi, worm, etc. Note, clean up environment by decomposing other organisms. Decomposers are basically environmental cleaners, okay, and they clean the environment. And because of the decomposers, you can say they are indirectly cleaning the environment because they are feeding on dead plants and animals, which is just a waste for the environment, right? So they break complex compound in dead organisms into nutrients. These nutrients mix with soil, making soil more fertile. As you know that they will be responsible for creating a manure. And what is the role of manure? Manure is actually providing nutrients to the plants, and these are organic manures which do not have any chemicals inside it, right? Food chain. So this is a kind of chain between the animals which they are dependent on each other for their nutrition. Food chain is a series of organisms in which every next organism depends on the one before it. For example, food chain start with the producers, then these are the grass and eaten by the grasshopper. Grasshopper is eaten by the frog. This is the secondary consumer. This is the primary consumer. Frog is eaten by the snake. Snake is the territory consumer. And finally, honk come and eat the snake. So this is a final consumer. When this bird die, it get decomposed in the soil. And finally, decomposers also eat them, and the decomposer help the plants to produce. So this is a sort of chain, right? I hope you have understood, because this is the simplest example we can give for the food chain, right? Food web. In our environment, there can be many food chains which are interlinked at various levels. Thus, many food chain from a network which is called a food web. Okay, food web. Many other food chains connecting together will be known as a food web. As you can see in this picture, okay, this is like food chains are merging together, creating a food web. Okay, so there is a shrub, there's a bacteria, grass is forming, and grasshopper is eating, and grasshopper is being eaten by some of the insect and the birds. Like this, many other food chains is getting merged with the with each other. So this is known as food web. Trophic levels. Each step in a food chain where transfer of food energy take place is called a trophic level. The first trophic level consists of producers, because producers are the first one. Second trophic level consists of primary consumers. The third trophic level consists of secondary consumers. Fourth trophic level consists of territory consumers. Okay. Since the transfer of food energy decreases at every trophic level, the number of trophic levels are limited and do not exceed either 4 or 5. Okay, it's because the energy decreases with every trophic level. So this is algae, then insect, then fish, then bird, producer, herbivore, carnivore, top consumer. Like this, the trophic level is going. Fine. As you can see, producers will meet primary consumer will meet secondary consumer will meet tertiary consumer. So plants produce energy from the sun and nutrients. Herbivore eats these plants, and first carnivores eat the herbivores, and second level consumer eat the first level carnivores. So this is how the trophic levels goes, and with every trophic level, the energy is decreased. Flow of energy. Sun is the ultimate source of energy. Only 1% of solar energy coming to earth is absorbed by plants. Plants convert this energy to chemical energy by the process of photosynthesis. Okay, so sun is the ultimate source of energy. You know that solar energy is abundant and it's an inexhaustible source of energy which will never be get exhausted, right? So whatever the solar energy we are getting from sun, we are using only 1% of that energy, right? And plant convert that energy to chemical energy by the process of photosynthesis. Again, I'm repeating, what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is a process by which green plant make their own food in the presence of sunlight and green pigment chlorophyll. That's why they are known as autotrophic organisms. Some of this energy is lost by plants to surrounding, rest is stored in the body of plants. Okay. Almost 90% of this energy is utilized for its own need, and rest 10% is left to the organism of the next trophic level. So very little energy is left of the organism which is at the tertiary level. Flow of energy is unidirectional, at one direction. Uni means one. As you can see, this plant's heat is lost, given to the rabbit, primary consumer. Again, heat is lost. Then the snake is eating the rabbit. Again the heat will lose, and then this eagle will eat the snake. Then again the heat will lose. So this is how energy flow and trophic levels are having, and they are losing the calories, means losing the energy. Calorie is the unit of energy. So they are losing the energy at every level. Biological magnification. As we move to higher trophic levels, certain harmful substances such as mercury, DDT, and pesticides are accumulated. This is called biological magnification. See, we are eating some kind of animals like fish and all. So this is like, if the fish is having some kind of substance inside it, we will also have that particular substance inside our body. So with the increase of higher trophic levels, the harmful substances also increases. I will explain you how. This is a mayfly. This bluegill has eaten it, the bass has eaten it, and this human is taking it from this. So this is how the level of concentration of the chemical is going. So water will have some chemicals, producers will take it, zooplankton will take it, small fish will eat it, large fish will eat the small fish, and the birds will eat the large fish, so they will get the biological magnification like this. So these kind of toxic things will be reached to the bird also at higher level. Abiotic component. All the non-living things make the abiotic component of an ecosystem. Example, air, water, and soil are the abiotic components. Okay, so those living non-living things makes the abiotic component. Air is an abiotic component, water also, soil also. Those things which do not have any living cells in that, that is the abiotic component. Air provides oxygen for respiration and carbon dioxide for photosynthesis and other gases for various needs of the living beings. Like nitrogen is needed for the plants. Okay, so everything which is present in the air is being needed by the atmosphere. Water is an essential for all living beings because all the metabolic activities happen in the presence of water. We need water. Our body has 70% of water inside it. So we need all the process, for all the process, we need water inside our body. That's why always recommended by the doctors that we need to keep ourselves hydrated. That means full of water. Soil is the reservoir of various nutrients which are utilized by plants. Soil is a reservoir of various nutrients which is utilized by the plants. Our effect on environment. Due to our waste, environment gets polluted. There are some example of waste: household garbage, kitchen waste, paper, polythene, wood, glass, metal cans, and detergents. Okay, so there are some example of waste like household garbage. We have kitchen waste, we have paper, polythene, wood, glass, metal cans, detergent. So many waste inside our house. Okay, so that is all related to household garbage. Then sewage. Waste produced by generated by human body is being given to the sewage. Okay, and commercial waste from shops, from hospital, from waste industries, from chemicals, and from the industries, whatever the waste is known as commercial waste. Electronic waste is the e-waste which we are having because of the mobile phones which is not longer in use, the computer system which is now turning like old, and electronic instruments. So this is all e-waste. As you can see, this is electronic waste, this is commercial waste. Waste are of two types: biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. Biodegradable waste are those which can be decomposed by the soil. Non-biodegradable waste is those which cannot be decomposed by the soil. Biodegradable waste, which can be decomposed by living organisms like decomposers, they mainly include plant and animals. Example: paper, cotton, veg waste, sewage, etc. As you can see in the picture. Non-biodegradable waste which cannot be decomposed by living organism are non-biodegradable. Example: glass, metal, plastic, dyes, detergent. This waste cannot be decomposed, right? So this is like detergent, polythene, and the tin cans. Okay, so these are non-biodegradable waste which cannot be decomposed. Note: we should use more of biodegradable material for saving our environment, such as cotton bags instead of polythene. So instead of polythene bags, we should use cotton bags because cotton can easily be decomposed in the environment, whereas polythene gets never gets decomposed when it is put into the soil. Then paper is a biodegradable product, but paper is being taken from the plants only. It is made from the plants only. So we need to cut lot many of trees for making the paper. So that's why it is okay. It is biodegradable, but it should be avoided because we have to save the plants anyhow, because they give us food, they give us oxygen. We cannot survive without a plant, right? So we should use less paper and we should not waste paper also. Fine. Disposal of waste, recycle. We can recycle the waste like paper, polythene, metal, cans. We can recycle them. Biogas plants, sewage and food waste can be used for making biogas. That is methane gas. Okay. Also known as gobar gas. Dump and peat, sewage and food waste becomes fertilizer after decomposition. Burned hospital waste should be burned. Okay. Ozone layer depletion. Ozone layer is found high in the atmosphere. We have our ozone layer in the stratosphere. When ultraviolet radiation acts on oxygen, the oxygen gets converted into ozone. This is ozone layer, this is atmosphere, and this is earth. O2, O plus O will give you O2. O2 plus O will give O3, that is ozone. Ozone layer works like a protective shield for living beings. The ozone layer wards off harmful ultraviolet radiation from the sun, which causes cancer, cataract, and destroy the plants also. So ozone is basically, we are blessed that ozone is not here on this level, because ozone is a poisonous gas. And O plus O plus O gives you O3, that is ozone. So this is triatomic and this is diatomic, O2. So this is Earth, this is troposphere where we live, ozone layer in the stratosphere. Okay, this is how the ozone layer protects us from ultraviolet rays. Depletion. Depletion means ozone hole has a hole. Ozone layer is becoming thin worldwide. It is the thinnest at Antarctica and then Arctic. This lets us more UV rays to reach the surface of Earth. It is called the ozone hole. So Antarctica already having glaciers over there. So because of this ozone hole, the glaciers is melting now rapidly. Okay, so this ozone hole is actually very dangerous for us. Reason why the ozone hole was created. Chlorofluorocarbons, that is CFC. CFC is used in refrigerator, air conditioners, fire extinguishers, and shaving creams, which causes depletion of ozone layer. Prevention. In 1987, the UNEP, United Nations Environmental Programme, succeed in forgiving an agreement among different countries not to produce CFCs. Since then, there is a decrease in the growth of depletion. That's all. I hope you have enjoyed the lecture, learned it. Thank you.